Okay, it looks like I'm live, but I can't tell because it says preparing. So hopefully I'm not just talking out into space. Welcome, welcome if you are on right now. So today, or actually let me back up to next week. And it is recording, perfect. So last week, we talked about setting up a TPT store and how you can really do that, how you can be successful at that. But I gave you a super crash course. I went over in 2 hours, everything you have to really think about beforehand, what you should have set up, what branding is, how to be thinking about those things before you even set it up, okay? So today, we're going to be talking about how to specifically make your TPT store stand out, and that goes with branding, right? That goes with your logo, your colors, your name. That goes with your description, your seller profile, the products you have in your store, your freebie. Very, very important. And we're going to talk about that all today. And so I have this little outline here, and we're really going to do more of a show as I go and working alongside each other, okay? So let's see if we have anyone watching in the group and if they're having a hard time getting on. Okay, so it looks like it's posted, which is great. And if you guys want to log on, of course, you're welcome to join. I have that link posted there, but I'm gonna go check the Facebook group just in case. And let's see if I have anyone else that's waiting to get in. Nope, we're good to go on that. Okay, and my Facebook's frozen. So let me go ahead and bring out my phone. Okay. Let's see what the comments are saying. You're live. Hello, Cheryl. Okay, cool. Hi, guys. So today, I was really hoping, or I am really hoping, that you are all ready to actually set up your store today. And that is, of course, if you want one. Don't feel like you have to. The whole point of this course is for you to really see that teaching online can look any way you want, right? It doesn't just have to be teaching English online. It doesn't have to just be working for a school or district online. It doesn't have to be setting up and selling courses, although you can do that. It doesn't even have to be in a live or hybrid setting like I'm doing now. You really get to control that. The only reason that I really suggest and provide the option of setting up a Teachers Pay Teachers store is because that passive income is so nice. So I know I already covered this a little bit, but just in case you didn't get to see it in the masterclass last week, I told you that in my first month of opening up a store on Teachers Pay Teachers, I made $400. And I hardly marketed it because I didn't really know what I was doing. So I can't guarantee that that exact thing will happen for you, but I can say if you are very focused about your niche, if you've had some time to think about what kind of topics you're going to be teaching on, what kind of resources you want to make, then you're already a step ahead, because a lot of teachers, they just kind of put stuff out there and see what sticks, right? And a little bit of experimentation and market research is great, right? You want to ask your target market what they need. You want to put products out there and see what sells well, but you also want to do that strategically, right? So that's what we're really going to talk about today. So I am going to go on to Teachers Pay Teachers, and I'm actually going to walk you through my profile, because last week was very, very rushed. It was quick because I had a lot to share in a very little amount of time, and I had other people joining us that were not part of this full course, and I wanted to make sure that they were successful as well, okay? So go ahead, and another tab, if you haven't already, go ahead and open up your Teachers Pay Teachers website and log in. I have mine set to be logged in already. And we're gonna go through all the components of the store, okay? And I am going to have to put my glasses back on because this text is very tiny. So I apologize in advance for the glare, but since I'm looking down, it should be okay. Okay, and also I'm gonna say that I'm not saying that my store is the example, okay? I have learned to not spend time on the things that don't matter as much, and I don't want you to have to waste your time with those kinds of things either, right? So we're gonna be very focused with our time, and I don't want you to have to waste your time on things that don't matter as much. So I do have the premium TPT seller membership, and that means I have additional places to market. You will notice that there's a sale coming up tomorrow and on the 5th. So if you have some resources that you're looking to to buy yourself, I would wait till then. But also, if you haven't set up your store yet, this is a good time, because when the sales happen, Teachers Pay Teachers sends out emails to all of the account users to let them know the sale's coming up. So you'll even notice, if you're in the Traveling Teachers group, you'll see tomorrow I'm actually going to be sharing a follow train. So whoever has their Teachers Pay Teachers store done by then can actually share the link and get some follows and views on that. And that'll really help you build that momentum. It is really important that when you set up your store that you try to have a color theme, so that everything is not necessarily matching exactly, but that it's all kind of within the same spectrum. So if you notice on here, my profile picture is just a picture of me, and it's on the London Eye. It's the same one I have for my personal profile picture. That's also strategic, right? Because I want for people to be able to reach out to me about other products and services if they want that. And rating, a lot of teachers get hung up on rating. I'm going to encourage you to not, but I will encourage you also as a buyer, right? If you bought a resource and it's really great, leave them a 5-star review, because it does help them get seen a little more. Okay. So you have a couple of banner options with the premium membership. You don't have to go premium, but just want to introduce it to you in case you decide to. So up here, I've seen a few different options. I've seen a lot of TPT sellers have an animated banner. So they'll have their logo and some kind of either slogan, whatever their slogan is, or a quote. I have a quote up there. I thought about doing an animated banner, but honestly, right now, I have been doing cutting any non-income producing activities or things that aren't serving and helping other people. And since it doesn't really fall into either category, it's out for right now. I might have a VA do it later. VA is a virtual assistant. Okay, what I do recommend is making sure that you set up categories. This does take a little bit of time when you first start out, but the categories are one factor that's going to help your store get sought out when people are looking for products, when they're actually actively searching, and when certain products buzz, right? Because Teachers Pay Teachers does sometimes feature products, or they'll have them rank at the top. So for example, no prep, if someone searches for, like, let's just actually go on to no prep so you can kind of see what's there. Okay, so right, this is a great example. Okay, so editable, that's a buzzword as well. Editable coloring book report. Okay, so you'll see that my titles are very, very lengthy, right? So I'm trying to hit up all of the search areas. I have all of the search words in my title. I have very, I wouldn't say super long descriptions, but I have very involved descriptions. And I've selected all of the categories that Teachers Pay Teachers would allow me to show what this product qualifies for. This is really important. Let me see if I can see it bigger. No, okay. So I guess the thumbnail is fine. So this is a product cover. I'm not even going to say this is the best product cover. I've seen some other really great ones. I actually have a better template that I've been working on. You're going to get the new and improved one. Mine does stand out though, because the one I use does not look like anyone else's. And so it stands out. It has a very unique brand. It has my colors. I use the same fonts, and I use that same template almost every time to save myself time. And like I said, I'm going to get that to you as well. Okay. But let's just take a look at this product. So editable coloring book report. What does that mean? For distance learning, big buzzword, and Google Classroom. So let's look at that. Okay. So it is made for Google Drive. I will say, if you have not had a lot of time to play with Google Drive, I highly recommend that you take some time and get to know the different apps in the G Suite, because that's what's selling really well right now, because we have a very diverse range of needs, right? We have some teachers who are going completely online, maybe for a little while, and then they're going to move to a hybrid model. We have some teachers who are doing online throughout the whole semester or year. We have some teachers who are going back. So the more multi-use you can make your product, and the better and more clear you can be at conveying that to the customer, the more likely your product will sell. Okay, so so it is Google Drive accessible, and you'll see I have kind of the same template also, and I can send you the script as well. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you. I apologize, because I know people usually don't like it when it's read to them, but it is important because I want you to be listening for the buzzwords. Okay, what are some words that you think are going to be commonly found? Oh, everybody's saying hi. Hey, Christine. Hey, Donna. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Michelle. Okay, so yes, I'm going to go through and read this. And as you hear a word that you think is buzzing in education right now, I want you to type it in the comments below, or if you're in the Zoom chat with me, go ahead and share it. I don't see any comments yet. I don't see any waiting in the room. Okay, keep going then. All right. Oops, excuse me. This version of my reading time and coloring book report activity is one that can either be directly assigned to your Google Classroom from your Google Drive or downloaded as a PDF to be printed into a center station or distance learning packet. Okay, so I wrote that paragraph very strategically. I'm watching the comments now. Does anyone hear or did anyone see a certain word or phrase that would be very popular in the education world right now, one that teachers would be searching for when they're looking for products? Google Classroom, yep, absolutely. What else? I'm gonna read that again. This version of my reading time and coloring book report activity is one that can either be directly assigned to your Google Classroom from your Google Drive or downloaded as a PDF to be printed into a center station or distance learning packet. Distance learning, yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, people are also, they're looking for distance learning because obviously a lot of us are more prepared now than we were for spring, but distance learning became such a buzzword, best term during spring, that is what people have been looking for. And so I do, or I should say not every month, this is something I don't do regularly, but every once in a while, maybe once a month, I will just go and I will click through and look at the search results coming up to the top for Teachers Pay Teachers, and I will look at trends. It doesn't take long, maybe like a couple of minutes. And so I just see, okay, I don't want to copy products, but what is something that teachers are looking for right now? And do I have a product I can either slightly modify to meet that need, or is there a hole that's not being filled at all that I can meet with what I'm doing? Just checking the comments here, distance learning, yeah, okay. So this was designed to be used in conjunction, here's another little tip here. This was designed to be used in conjunction with my ELA choice board, PDF version here, Google Docs version here. Do you see how that would be appealing to teachers? They can actually choose which version they want. If they're not really familiar or comfortable with the G Suite yet, they can actually download the PDF version and they can use an extension like Cami to type over it, or if they're making distance learning packets, they can send those home. Okay, and you see that term Google Classroom comes up again. I'm actually going to do a search for you so you can see how many times Google Classroom comes up. Okay, so it's in my title, it's in my product description twice, it's in here twice, right? It's in my other products twice. So the algorithm for Teachers Pay Teachers has figured out, okay, this person is selling products for Google Classroom. If someone's searching up Google Classroom, this is where they want to go. Okay, what else would be good about it? Okay, so this part down here, I actually don't recommend doing this. This is probably not really good as far as their terms and conditions. Teachers Pay Teachers, they want you to stay on their website, right? They get a commission every time you sell a product. So they want you to stay on the website to keep selling stuff that makes them money, to buy products that makes them money. So they don't really want you taking traffic. That's what it's called when people are on websites. They don't want you taking the traffic away from their website. So I actually don't recommend putting this stuff at the bottom. But you are totally okay to link to other products up here. And that's actually really strategic, because if a teacher searches for that product and it's almost what they want, but you have something that exactly matches and they can click through. And this is something that's automatically built in. You don't have to do this. It will automatically populate when you search up a product, things on the side that have either done really well with search results, like the products that when a teacher made a search, they ended up buying that product. All of those popular products are going to come up on the side, okay? Just gonna check the comments again, make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. All right, so that is basically like a product listing. And what I'm going to do, and I'm just making a note here. So I'm gonna send you a cover template, and I'm also going to send you a product listing script. And by that, I don't mean that it's going to be exactly what mine says, right? Obviously, you're going to tailor it to whatever you're selling, but it's going to say like, okay, introduce product here, use this keyword this many times. Okay, so it's going to give you more of the formula so that you can put it in exactly what has been helpful to me, okay? Okay, so let me also, I just tried to use my mouse, it's not connected. Okay, so that's kind of like the product formula. And honestly, it's a lot simpler. I think a lot of people make it, but it really is just kind of formulaic, just using those search engine optimization techniques. Do we have any questions so far? I'm trying to watch the comments as they come through. Are there any questions about, because I know Bianca had questions about making your products easily searched. Do you have any questions about that, about search results, about how to make sure your product comes up in searches, how to write products in that way so that they're found easily? If not, I will move on. I'd also like to know, before I move on, who has set up their store? Okay, so let me know in the comments, have you set up your store yet? If not, do you have the window open now? Okay, again, this is not a course, it's like any others. You don't necessarily have to be accountable to me, but I made you a promise, right? My promise is that you'd be teaching online within 30 days of starting, and I want to make sure I deliver on that promise for you, and I also want to make sure that you reach those goals, right? So I would love to see, do you already have a Teachers Pay Teachers store? If so, what do you need to do today so I can make sure I use your hour wisely? And if you don't, why not? Why haven't you started yet if you haven't started yet? I'm going to refresh this on Facebook so I can see. 9 comments, okay. I'm not doing a store. Oh, okay, no problem. So Michelle, that's what today is all about. We're doing all about the Teachers Pay Teachers store because that's what people really wanted. I did note on the poll post that if you really want the interview hot seats, that what we can do, because it didn't seem like as many people really needed that, what I can do is I can get you in touch with whatever guest presenter works at the company that you're interviewing with, and I can set up a time for all of us to do some mock interviews, or you can pre-record a mock lesson if you'd like feedback on that. So I just wanted to make sure that you have that option, okay? Looking for more comments. Okay, Cheryl says, I have an account but not a store yet. Okay, Cheryl, so my next question for you is, why don't you have the store yet? What's that first thing blocking you from starting? Just so I know what I'm focusing on today with you. Michelle says, I'm learning how to better search TPT. All good. Okay. Yeah, totally. And you can kind of search by price range too. Pricing is also a very strategic thing. I talked a little bit about that on Thursday, but I'll go over that again as well. Okay, so let me go to my store again. And let's go, okay. So I also talked about some other like factors that could like rate whether, or that could affect whether or not someone buys from you or finds you. And one of those is your profile. Now, I can't tell you, I don't know the statistics as far as how often teachers look up the profile of a seller before they purchase, but I can tell you that I do, okay? I actually look at that stuff because I wanna see, one, unfortunately, there are sometimes people who steal materials and then re-upload them as their own, but I want to see and make sure that the teacher's teaching philosophy meets mine and that what they have to offer matches what I need, right? Okay, so you'll see some buzzwords here as well. Go ahead and comment when you hear them, okay? So this is my 3rd year teaching in a traditional classroom, though a lot of my instruction delivery has been done in a blended environment. My students are very accustomed to the use of technology. Before classroom teaching, I worked in the nonprofit world for several years. I've been a naturalist, outdoor educator, camp director, tutor, ballroom dance instructor, and the manager of a community youth center department. Did you guys hear any buzzwords in that? Donna says she's waiting to hear your advice before opening. Okay. Cheryl says, I did not know I could make stuff to sell. Yeah, absolutely. You know, the funny thing is basically every teacher makes some kind of material, right? They're either creating their own curriculum entirely if the school or district doesn't provide it for them. They're usually making supplementary activities for their class to do, or they're just coming up with ideas maybe on the fly that they don't realize can be things that you can package. And I'm also going to walk you through just how easy it is. It's literally so easy. Technology, yes, definitely a popular word right now. Blended's another very popular word. I haven't used hybrid, but that's another one that's trending right now. Okay, and then the rest of it is more just so that they know who I am, right? So I'm fun but fair, firm but gracious. They probably won't care that much about, I mean, they might, some might care about my educational history. And then you see I plug my website down at the bottom. Okay. Let's go to product listings. I'm checking for comments. Okay. Okay. So Donna, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the masterclass. This is going to be supplementing that. So some of the things I talked about, if there are certain terms that that you maybe like don't recognize or you don't remember from that, just let me know and I'll go back over it. But you are going to hear that me say some things that I'll try to explain as I'm going, but I'm also talking with the assumption that most of you have watched that already or will go back and watch it. Okay, so as far as ideas, someone mentioned in a message, how do you figure out what to sell? So a couple of suggestions with that. One is you actually want to stay away from just looking at products that other teachers have. I do recommend going on the Teachers Pay Teachers website, like I said earlier, and actually looking at the trends. But try not to look too long at individual products because you don't want any ideas you have to be clouded by something that's already out there and then open yourself up to the possibility of infringing on copyright, okay? So what I usually do, if I'm gonna make, now usually I just get ideas for products like, oh, that would be really great, and then I write it down, right? But if I'm actually gonna sit down and do this, this is exactly what I do, and you can't see, but I have my notebook right here. And I might go say, okay, I make a little list. I'm gonna say, need would be nice, would be fun. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you these are like the 3 categories I see resources fitting in. That doesn't mean that they're the only categories. Okay. But one is, what do I need? What would be nice? And what would be fun, right? What would be nice is kind of like what would be really helpful. Okay. It's not necessarily necessary. Not necessarily necessary. It's not necessarily what I need, but it would be really helpful. And then what would be fun, right? So when I first sat down and was thinking about the kind of products I wanted to have, I said, you know, it would be really fun. I'm not really seeing any Google Classroom headers on here. So Google Classroom headers went under would be fun. Google Classroom headers. Because that's not really necessary for instruction. It doesn't really help teachers to be able to have students more engaged, although it does create, I would say, a better classroom environment and it makes it a little more welcoming and fun, but it's not really necessary for instruction. So I put that as a fun thing. But I knew that because a lot more teachers were going to be getting into Google Classroom, that was going to be something that they'd probably want to have. Okay. What do I need? What do I need in the classroom each day that I can never find? Graphic organizers. I teach 4th grade ELA primarily. I do other subjects as well, but I do ELA, and I just have found, maybe some of you can relate to this as well, that the graphic organizers I find online are just always lacking in some way. There's maybe either just some other element that I wish was on there, or maybe I want one specific to the guided reading that I do. Right, so I say, okay, I definitely need graphic organizers. That's going under a need. Okay. Would be nice. So I think about, okay, this is something that would be helpful, but it's not necessarily what I need, right? So one thing I thought would be helpful would be a fun way, so it kind of goes under fun, a fun way for students to get oriented to Google Classroom. So I said, you know what? It would be cool if there was a fun way for students to get to know it through an orientation or, oh, I know, a Google Classroom scavenger hunt. And this is literally how I came up with like the first 20 products, was just writing out these ideas. Because if you actually look through these, a lot of them are pretty much the same, right? So what do we have here? Graphic organizer for a flea map, because I realized the need for, okay, a lot of teachers are still going to be teaching the 5-paragraph strategy, you know, intro, 3 fact paragraphs, closing paragraph, but conclusion. But I don't have anything for them to do that digitally since they're going to be learning in an online environment. So I made a graphic organizer, which is a need, and I made it digitally. That's how it stands out, right? And it's super simple. I actually didn't even make, I didn't even really do anything for the cover for this one. I just put the thumbnail, which a thumbnail is just a smaller image. And then I put a cover just so they would see what it is, but I probably could have done a better job with that because you can see with this cover, it's not super clear. And that line, the template I send you is going to be better. These ones are several months old now. And when you actually, you'll find that when you make stuff and go back, you're going to go, ugh, I could have done a better job, right? That's always how it's going to be. We're always going to see how we could have done better. Let's see. Yep, and then here's the scavenger hunt. Okay, and I gave a couple of thumbnails for this one, so that way they could see like what does it look like for the teachers, and then I give them a little sample of what it looks like for the students. So it's basically just a Google Doc, and they can assign it, and then the students use it to learn at their own pace where everything is. Okay, so look at that product description again. Let's look up how many times I mentioned Google Classroom, right? And you can see like in the title. Okay. Also, templates tend to do very well. If you have any template that you don't mind teachers editing, it really does help them out, and they tend to search for them and buy them. The only problem with that is you do run the risk of them taking the template, making something basically similar, and then making a product themselves. Right. So let's see, we have Google Classroom, orientation, scavenger hunt. Those are all popular words. I have Google Classroom in that search a lot. And I also, whenever I'm trying to upload a product, especially now, I try to speak to the transformation that the students and or the teachers are going to have by using this product, okay? So you see, I'm saying, how are your students doing Google Classroom? That's going to evoke an answer to a question right away. Teachers might say, oh, they're not doing great, they're still really struggling, or maybe they're logging on, but they don't know exactly what to do in there, okay? So I'm already getting the teachers thinking about what do they actually need, right? And then I'm asking questions. Have they finally figured out how to attach files to assignments? I know that was a big thing. It took my students have been using Google Classroom for several years, and they still sometimes forget how to attach the assignment instead of just saying turn in, right? Do they still struggle to find the turn in button on Google Doc? Mine do sometimes, even though I teach them over and over again. Are they comfortable with the rest of the G Suite? Google Slides, Google Sheets, Google Drawings, Google Forms. Do you guys see some other keywords I just used, right? G Suite, Google, okay? And I'm also asking that question. I'm getting them to think, well, are they comfortable? I don't know. Okay, do they understand the difference between the stream, class comments, and private comments? Okay, so as I'm kind of taking the customer on a journey here, I'm taking them through the process of really thinking and reflecting, well, where am I at? Is this actually a problem for them? And will my product meet their solution, be their solution, right? And then I immediately go into how it's a solution. This Google Classroom feature scavenger hunt will walk them through the features of Google Classroom. This would be a great check for understanding, so that's another buzzword, if they've been using it for a while. At the beginning of the year, other buzzwords, right? Beginning of year, you could use this as a support to your instruction on how to use Google Classroom, right? And then editable. Since it's an editable Google Doc, you can use as little or as much of the original document as you like, as long as you adhere to my terms and conditions, okay? So like I said, that template and a script of the product listing is really going to help you, because once you have those rules, they really do sell themselves. But I'll also show you guys how to get set up in actually selling your items once you want to do that, okay? I haven't seen any comments or questions for a while. I'm also going to walk through the process of what it actually looks like to upload a product listing using the template here. So I'm literally just going to copy and paste this. And I'm going to go through and edit all of my listings later, because now I'm seeing them again and I'm like, oh, I want to update them. So I'm looking out for any questions you guys have. Otherwise, I'm going to walk you through exactly what it takes to upload a product. And then it's 5:30 right now, so if we have some time before 6, I'll also walk you through just how easy it is to make a product on Google Slides, or basically PowerPoint if you prefer that, because it is really quick. So when you get into your dashboard, I went to my product listings, and then this big red button right over here says add new product. I'm going to click on that. Okay, and it's going to give you a few different options, right? Select a file from your computer is the most common one. That's when any kind of downloaded PDFs that you've made. A video, I have uploaded videos on Teachers Pay Teachers. I charge $5 for them. They are walkthrough tutorials on how to do different things with Google Classroom, and they have done really well. So I say this not to brag or to discourage you. Okay, Google Classroom is not the only niche. There are so many other niches doing well right now. If you're doing reading instruction and you're making those so they can be done hybrid or online, if you're doing online math instruction, or even more specific like chemistry or biology, oh my gosh, you have so many choices. So make sure, if you have not watched that masterclass and taken the time to really think about what kind of resources you want to sell and to whom you're selling them to, make sure you have that work done first, okay? Because this is really not going to help you or serve you until you know who you are serving. Okay. So video files, if you can do them, they're great. You can record with programs like Screencast-O-Matic or Screencastify. Those are completely free. I know a lot of teachers also used to love to use Loom. Zoom, actually, you could even do it. You could just record a meeting by yourself, just like how I'm doing right now. I don't prefer Zoom for that because I think that other programs are a little less clunky, especially if you don't have very high-speed internet. Then I think Screencast-O-Matic is your best bet. That's what I use for my little promotional videos, or even if I just want to upload my screen and kind of do like voiceover slides. That's a really great option. Okay, so you can do digital files, videos, select a file from your Google Drive. I'll just show you how this works. You would just click online resource, and then it's automatically going to connect to your Google Drive. So let's see, I'm signing in as another account, so we'll see if it does that. But see, same thing, you would name your product, you have a description, and then you go to file type. So I would just click on product, and it's going to give you a little disclaimer. It says each buyer gets a unique copy, which is important because you don't want them editing the actual template, right? Also, it's worth noting that once you add a file from your Google Drive, you cannot delete it, because if you delete it, anyone who's ever purchased from you no longer has access to that product. So it's very important, if you're going to do Google digital products, that you just recognize anything you make cannot be deleted, okay? I'm gonna say, got it, I know that already, and then it's automatically going to prompt me to sign in. I'm going to sign into this one because this is where I have most of my products. I'm actually going to be uploading a downloaded product, but I want you to see what it looks like. So then I just scroll down and I just find what I want to upload. So let's just actually go ahead and go to these 4th grade ELA test prep flashcards. So I'm not actually going to upload them, but you see, just like that, it's already done, okay? And then it's going to ask if you want to do a main cover. So a main cover is exactly what I showed you, and I'm gonna show you what those look like before they're uploaded, since it's a bigger file before. Are audios offered? Good question. I do not think so, but what you could do, Donna, is you could just record audio and then make it an MP4 file. Okay, so an MP4 file is a video file, so you could upload it as a video and it can just be an audio track. That would be great for your meditations. And I just saw something that made me think of you. There was a school doing mindfulness meditations and like tapping. And so they have like videos of that. So there are people out there doing it, which shouldn't discourage you. That should be great, because that means if there are people out there in a similar niche, then that means that there's demand, and that's great. Okay, so let's go to downloads here. Oh, you're gonna find all kinds of crazy stuff right now. Let's see if I actually have it in my Teach About Travel folder. Okay, cover images. Okay, so let me just show you one of these bigger. Although it is important to note that when you are making these, you actually want to make them so that they are visible from far away. That's why the new template is so much better that I have. I just haven't uploaded them yet. I'm probably going to go through and update all my covers, okay? So a good cover is going to have a thumbnail of the actual image. You can do this by just clicking FN and print screen, and then you just basically put that into Paint, and you can crop that image and put that into Canva. And then once you do it once, you have the template and you can just adjust it. So I have like a little preview here, and then I just have a description. Like I said, this is probably not the best cover, because although my products have been doing really well, even today I think I made 15 sales. Not doing anything. I haven't been posting on Facebook. I haven't been emailing people about it. But it is better if you have a very high contrast color system that you use. So like you'll see a lot of people do a square, perfect square, and then they have like a black background at the top with white text. and that is very similar to the template I'll be giving you, okay? Those covers do very well. So mine is not that. It's actually lighter, it's different, but it tells you exactly what it's for, right? It's a coloring book report, so you know it's a book report and it's for coloring, and it's a great fit for literacy centers, daily 5, review, distance learning packets. And so anytime I make a cover, I try to make sure I have buzzwords in the cover, and then also try to use those throughout my product description and throughout the title so that they can try to hit all of the factors when people are searching for them, right? I do also put my logo on there, and the reason for that is simply I don't want to rip off my work. Now, if they really wanted to, they could screenshot this and they can cut that out and do that if they really wanted to. So you're never 100% safe. But okay, so I'm uploading a cover, so let's just go ahead and pick this one. Oops, let me go back. So we're gonna go to main cover. We're actually gonna do this again because I don't think I clicked that before. Down to Teach Upon Travel. Start images, cover images. I'm just picking any old thing. Okay, and it's uploading that. Important with image files, video files. So the videos have to be an MP4, which is what most of those programs will use. Same thing with audio. You would just record it as an MP4, or Donna, for you, well, I'm trying to find this. What is that website? Is it called Windshare? You know, I'll have to get back to you. I'm gonna write down audio to MP4 because I can't remember if I still have a free version or if I have a paid version of that program, but I'll find you the free version. I'll send it to you. Okay. Let's see. What other questions do we have so far, if any? Oh, you're welcome. Okay. So very simple there. And then this is really important. So for your first resource, you do have to upload a freebie. You can have as many freebies as you like. I like to have a lot on there because it does create engagement, especially when you're first building momentum for your store. You can use freebies as promotional tools. If you do decide to have a blog, you don't have to, but if you do decide to have a blog or a Facebook page or maybe like an Instagram account, the freebies are great because you can share them and get people to come and check out your store. And then if they like your work, you've linked the other products in the product description, they see that and they go, right? So if you want this to be a freebie, then you would just click free resource and you can see all those pricing boxes go away. It does take, you know, that free resources should be 10 pages or fewer. Of course, you don't want to give away a lot. Bundle discount price doesn't matter so much unless you're actually creating a bundle, which I'll show you how to do that in a second too. Okay, tax code, it depends on what it is, right? So like Donna, you just asked about audio, so you would click audio if it's an audio file, video if it's a video file, and then if it's just, if it's something it streams, digital images, if it's like a photo or streaming video, then that one. But if it's just a PDF, then I select other digital goods for the tax code. Grade level, you can pick up to 4, so you can, you know, you have those options there. And then subject area, oh my gosh, it could be anything, right? So let's just put 3rd through 5th. So you can see it comes up now, 3rd through 5th. And then I click on the box and it really, I mean, all kinds of things. I'm just gonna scroll down there so you can see your options. So you don't, it doesn't just have to be traditional English or math. So like Cheryl, you were saying, could I create resources for a Teachers Pay Teachers store? Absolutely. You could specialize in just holidays. You could even get more niche and specialize in just Jewish holidays. I mean, anything, right? Different kinds of math. And then within math, what do? Do you specialize in test prep, fundamentals, obviously all kinds of science, all kinds of social studies, and then specialty. So I was trying to look for Donna's. What would yours be? Yours could be really all kinds of things. Occupational therapy, psychology. I do want just like a word of caution though. If you do, have it super niche, even if you know that like, okay, mine is definitely instructional technology, I do recommend trying to pick other subject areas that you think other teachers would consider it, because even if I consider this instructional technology, let me just see, another teacher might say that's library skills, right? Even if I don't agree that that's directly related to library skills, I'm still going to select it because that is one of the categories that's going to like basically decide whether or not my product comes up for that search. Okay, checking comments. All right. And then resource type, same thing. So what is it? Is it an assessment? Is it by sellers for sellers? So like you'll see if you do decide to open up a store, for those of you who have, you're going to see a lot of resources out there specifically for you. So you're going to have like planning tools, productivity tips. You might have someone who actually sells planner pages for you to print out. So there's a whole category and niche specifically for TPT sellers. Clip art, that would be, great if you are either a TPT seller or someone who does that. I mean, I can just scroll here so you can see. English, British English specifically. So it just depends on what it is. And you can select up to 3 types. So like for that graphic organizer, I would say, you know what? It is a graphic organizer, but it's also, where is it? So graphic organizer, and I'm going to consider it internet activities, okay, because it's something you do online. So try to think in the mind of your customer, which categories are they going to be searching for? And then, of course, your education standards, not required. It's not going to hurt you if you add them. The only thing it can do is help you, because the teachers who would be looking for materials that match those standards will be searching for them, and the ones who don't won't care if they're there, okay? So these also optional. You can place a duration. How long is it going to take? How many slides, an answer key if it goes with that. And then I did cover this briefly in the masterclass, but it bears repeating again. Any kind of product you make, whether it's Google Slides, whether it's uploaded a video, you do have to attest that you've either used all completely original materials or that you have used copyrighted materials with permissions. So the note of caution here is that if you use Canva, whether you have the free membership or the paid membership, you are technically using copyrighted materials. The people who have made the clip art, made the photos, they all have the intellectual property rights to those images, to those elements, but they're allowing you to use them, and a lot of them have a lot of commercial use, so that you can make items to sell with those elements. Checking comments. Okay. So I wanted to make sure, if you're wanting to get a store open, I just highly recommend it, because it takes a little bit of work. I mean, you can set it up in maybe a day or a weekend, add a few products in there, and then you're done. And if you don't ever want to touch it again, you can, and you can still make money. So I highly recommend that you start one, but you don't feel like you have to. Okay, it's just a great way to supplement what you're already doing. If you're teaching English online, like for the VIP Kid, you can create resources for VIP Kid teachers. And they don't even have to be resources specifically for instruction, right? It could be how to organize your time. It could be videos showing them, if you're into the recruiting side, how to recruit. If you are doing stuff on OutSchool, right, or homeroom, you can talk about that, okay? So for the product description, I would just paste it into there, and then I would make changes, and you're going to do the same exact thing with your template and script that I give you. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much it as far as listing and search optimization. How are we doing so far? So it looks like we have, just to go back through here. So Michelle's not interested in a TPT store. Christine might do it. Donna is interested, but she was waiting. Cheryl, you could definitely make stuff. So let me know if you're going to be making it, because I want this to be time for you. So let me know what you need. Oh, I just sold another product. It's serious. Oh, I sold 12. Okay, 12 products today. That was 15. Hey, 12 are awesome. 12 is awesome. And you know what's funny is the things that are mostly selling right now are Google Classroom headers. Out of all the things I've made, those, like I said, they take me like 30 seconds. I've made these resources, like these graphic organizers, where I spent a lot of time thinking about the questions on there, and then the thing that sells is Google Classroom headers. So you just never know what it is that people are going to like. Okay. All right. So once you have your store set up, okay, I am going to ask, if you're doing it, just set it up tonight, get it done, because you have that sale tomorrow and the next day, and it's going to be a really good time. Unless you don't want to have your items on sale, you can wait until after that, it's fine. but it's just a really good promotional tool, especially because tomorrow in the traveling teachers group, you're going to have an opportunity to share your link and follow others, okay? A couple other things for the dashboards. Let's go to the seller dashboard so that you know kind of how to look at that. And I did cover this a bit in the masterclass, but just so that you know what you're looking at, okay? So this tells you exactly the dates that you're looking at. So let's see, this tells you what people are buying. Let's tell you this month. So this is just the last couple days. I've already made $16, right? Let's say this quarter. Quarter 84, not so bad, not so bad for June and July. That's actually the worst quarter, right? Because most people aren't really like thinking about their stores then. Let's look at, let's say you want to look at March to April. Okay, so I apply it. And I really like this data because it tells you specifically when people were on. So it looks like I had a peak on March 30th. So I can go here in calendar and see, okay, what day did March 30th fall on? That was on a Monday. Okay, so I had good sales on a Monday. How about April 1st, Wednesday? Okay, April 3rd. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday of that week. Okay, let's look at the next one. April 5th was a Sunday. April 7th was a Tuesday. April 9th was Thursday. So that's exactly opposite. That's funny. Okay, let's look at these other peaks. April 14th, Tuesday. Then kind of a dip. Okay. Cool. Let's look at May. I did not do anything in May, so it'll be interesting to see. May 4th. Monday. May 12th, Tuesday. May 18th, Monday. May 27th, Wednesday. So you're starting to see a little bit of a trend, right? Like, okay, I'm just looking at my sales. I didn't do anything. This is how much I made. And I'm seeing that the days I tend to do best are toward the beginning of the week, right? I have some sales on Sunday. Monday is a really good day, and that's not unusual. That's like for most sellers, right? So that's one thing I recommend is looking at your data. Cheryl said, oh no, Cheryl, I don't want you to be overwhelmed. Don't know where to start. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I would say, Cheryl, for you, if you have not watched the masterclass, it's up in the member vault area. Make sure you go back and watch that first, because that talks about knowing what kind of products you want to offer, which kind of teachers you're really going to be serving. And I would say start there. And you know what, Cheryl, if you want, we could even talk like one-on-one, like in Messenger, or we can video chat and we can talk about that a little more. Okay. Another really awesome resource, Cheryl, is the sellers forums. I don't even use this as much as I could. There are also some amazing Facebook groups, specifically for Teachers Pay Teachers sellers. But look, you have essential seller information. You have a place where you can introduce yourself, and people are on here. Look, over 9,000 topics. You have notes. The Teachers Pay Teachers staff, by the way, they are so involved, you guys. Like, they just have a tremendous amount of support for sellers. They have certain categories. Obviously today, this time right now is back to school. It's one of the busiest time for Teachers Pay Teachers, at least in the United States it is. I do recommend when you're uploading things, of course, if you want to focus on holidays, you're welcome to, but also consider that you have a potentially international audience. So even like during, like when it's summer for us, it's winter for other people, right? So that's something really unique. Like if you wanted to focus on teachers in Australia, you could make winter themed activities during our summer and it would sell. So just other ideas to keep in mind. Okay, so there's the sellers forum. That's a great place to get support. Let's go back to our dashboard and see what else we have. So paid promotions. So I don't do that. But let me just, and this shows you your annual data too. Not bad. I have to say, not bad from just a couple of months of work. Actually, not even a couple months of work. A couple of months of having the store. Actual work, I would say, is really just been like maybe 4 days total, which is amazing. Let's see, look, what else would be good for you to know? Manage Q&As. Okay. So when your store starts getting a little more traction and popular, you're going to have teachers doing Q&A. So I actually have not even been on here. So you're going to see me answer in real time. So, okay, she's a TPT seller. She says, I was wondering if there's any way if you could add a social science or social studies, excuse me, combined option that matches your free math and ELA Google Classroom headers. So she's making a request for a free product. I actually, when they send you a Q&A or a question, it actually does come through to your Gmail. So you can actually respond in real time from your Gmail account if you want. So, you know, I'm not even super on here as much for Q&A, but some people are really about it. They're on there all the time. Rating and reviews, like I said, don't get stuck on that. But it's good to go back through there and see like what specifically they needed. Like, oh no, this person's saying it's not downloadable. So they can't upload it for their students. Okay. So that's good feedback. So the video wasn't working for them. So, and I'm sorry that I didn't see that, or else it would have helped them sooner. So yeah, so that's good stuff to know. So it's good to be on here. Like you don't have to be on here all the time. You can just get your email, get notifications emailed to you. Note to followers, this is a free promotional tool. So if you don't even want to pay for an email list, like if you don't want to have a blog, if you don't want to deal with all that, you can actually use the note to followers, okay? So you can say like sale, let's see, it's back to school sale time. So, so yeah, so I could say like, hey teachers, it's time for the back to school sale. If you need support with Google Classroom and or distance learning, be sure to check out what I've uploaded over spring and summer. Have an idea for a product or a need that hasn't been met? Let me know and I'll create it for you. The last 2 weeks of summer, Brittany. Okay, so and I'm gonna send that right now. Preview, because it's just simple, right? Now I do communicate with my TPT followers pretty regularly. I also have a Facebook page that I talk with them on, and I do the emails. They're very conversational. I try to talk just like in typing as I do in my voice so that they can kind of hear me. I also have a YouTube channel, so I have built up a little bit of a following, but I'm saying you don't have to do that. I started the YouTube channel like 2 months after I started the store, and I made money with the store right away. So I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I just want you to see your options, right? You don't have to do all of this at all, and you don't have to do all of this at one time. You have options and you can do a little bit at a time. What I'm also going to do, I did give a timeline for when to do things as far as setting up your store. But I'm also going to give you guys a timeline for scaling your store, okay? So just to show, like, if you're still kind of thinking, you know, should I have a Facebook page, or should I have an Instagram account, or should I do an email list? Should I start a blog? Should I start a YouTube channel? Okay, so it just depends on what your specific skills and interests are. Like if you don't like doing video, then a YouTube channel probably won't be the best fit for you. You know, maybe if you just like audio, you can do a podcast, and I'm not even saying you have to do that, right? Anything you do, don't think about I should or I have to, right? Your life is going to be filled with those already. This is something that should be enjoyable. Excuse me. My throat's acting up today. So it should be something that's enjoyable, that's fun, and it can be profitable. I mean, it's a lot easier than they make it out to be once you have the scripts and the templates and strategies, right? But yeah, don't stress yourself out. Really quickly before we close out, I'm going to show you, if you're like not sure how to create resources. I showed you with Canva in that little tutorial video, and I talked a little bit about Canva last time, but I know that not everybody necessarily wants to sign up for Canva, and some of you might already be familiar with Google Slides, because you've been doing things with that either over the summer or last spring. So I just want to show you like how simple this is. So let's go ahead and go to, what do I want to do first? So yeah, so let's just go ahead and do the search. So let's do a search the web. And let's look for composition book cover. Okay. All right. Now, if I was actually making this, I would go ahead and adjust the size to be closer to an 8.5 by 11. I can show you guys how to do that in a separate video if you'd like. I just went ahead and duplicated the slide, and now I'm going to look for is lined notebook paper. Delete this one. I'm going to put that one on there. Oops, click it. There we go. And again, we're going to pretend it's already 8.5 by 11. I just don't want to spend too much time on it. Okay, so really easy, right? I can just put in a text box and I can just write the instructions. Write your name here. And I'm going to space it out a little more. Oh, there goes my cat. There we go. Okay, so I could say write your name here on there. So like if you're wanting to do like an interactive journal with them and you're trying to do it online. Okay, and I just thought of the most simple idea I could have. So you just resize these to 8.5 by 11, and you can sell this template as an interactive journal template on Teachers Pay Teachers, right? And that's literally how easy it is, or you can upload this as your first freebie. So I don't want you to get caught and stuck in thinking, I don't have the skills for this, I'm not super techie. Of course, anything is going to require some learning and some experimentation and playing. And you know what, maybe after going through the masterclass and going through this, you might even be thinking, you know what, I don't really enjoy it that much. And that's okay if you figure that out too. I was just talking to another teacher in here who was like, you know what, I was doing more thought about it and thinking about my goals, and I don't think a Teachers Pay Teachers store is what I want to do. Great, that's totally fine. You are not forced in here. Like I said, there's no have to, there's no should. It's, you know what, that sounds great and I can do it and I want to. I don't want you to feel limited. I want you to know, because it's true, that you can do whatever you want, right? Like teaching online can look a million different ways. And that's one big takeaway I hope you have from this course, that even if you're not teaching English online, to kids in China, even if that's what you wanted to do, if you're not doing a full-time remote teaching position, if you are teaching online through a homeroom or OutSchool or another platform like that. I mean, I'm technically teaching online right now through Facebook, and it's not the traditional method, right? That's okay, because sometimes traditional just doesn't work, or maybe it just doesn't work for you. So I hope that was helpful as far as setting up your store. I'm going to go back through here again and just see if there are any questions I did not catch. And if I want to answer them. So if there's a question that you have about setting up your Teachers Pay Teachers store, about making your product successful, making sure that they sell themselves so that you don't even have to do a lot of selling work, and starting by using those free tools and utilizing them well so that you don't even have to pay. There are options once you start getting more into Teachers Pay Teachers. You can pay for product placement, or you can start getting into Facebook ads. There are a million different ways and routes that you can go. But I haven't done either of those for my Teachers Pay Teachers store yet. I have decided there are some other platforms I've uploaded my products to because they have higher commissions, like Amped Up Learning is one. I think you get like 80 to 85%. I don't even remember, but it's higher than Teachers Pay Teachers commission. I upload them to my own website because I get a 97% commission, because the only thing I have to pay is the PayPal transactional fee, which ends up being like 3 cents or so. So yeah, those are the basics of like setting up your store and product listings for success. Like I said, I'm going to send a product cover template to you, as well as a general product description outline, a script, and some tips for SEO, which means search engine optimization. And that just means a fancy way of saying making sure your stuff gets found when it is searched. Is there anything else? It's so weird when you guys aren't in here in the Zoom room, because I don't know if you guys are watching, if there's something I still haven't covered yet. And I know that this is a minute or so behind, so I'm going to give it about 30 to 60 more seconds, and then I will check on the comments. Okay, going back into the video. Okay, I don't see anything yet. So if you are still, after this, if you've gone in and you still are struggling a little bit with setting up your store, or if you're just not know where to start, do look at the TPT store quick start guide. I included that in the modules with the masterclass, and also going to upload this video in there so that you're welcome to rewatch it as much as you like. And of course, it's also here in the Facebook group for you. So I think that's all we've got for today. Tomorrow, I'm going to be showing you step-by-step how you can plan a course. I'll show you some slight differences for when you're planning out a do-it-yourself, like at your own pace course, and a hybrid live program, and how planning for those differs and the different platforms that you can choose from. I already showed you a little bit about the platforms, but I'll go more into the inside tomorrow so you can really see which one looks like it's going to work best for you. So basically tomorrow is kind of like tech tutorial walkthroughs. That way, even if you're thinking, oh, I'm not techie, that's okay. We're gonna squash that limiting belief and make it so that you can do those things. So yeah, so let me know if you have questions. Please feel free to message me. I want you guys to succeed, right? I want you guys to get your, oh, thank you, Donna, I appreciate that. I want you guys to reach your goals. I'm trying to get you guys teaching online in 30, because that's my promise to you, and I believe in operating for integrity and making sure I keep that promise. So yeah, feel free to message me. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. And yeah, come ready to plan out your course if that's what you want to do. If you do not want to plan out courses, then let me know on that other thread if you would like feedback on a mock lesson, or if you'd like mock interview practice, and then we'll set that up for you. Okay? Thank you guys. Bye.